Okay, here is Town Topic, and this is my just under 16 hand 5-year-old thoroughbred mare by Aldrin, which is a Malibu Moonline. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually think I have Town Topic a little bit tired. She felt a little actually tired today for her ride, which I didn't realize that she was a horse that actually got feeling tired, but apparently she does. She's done a lot lately. I've had a bunch of my horses get placed, and she's, I think, my only available horse right now. So she's going a lot, and the weather's getting nice, and we can ride in the field, and we took her on a trail ride, and it's just a nice time of year to be riding. And I actually just don't even have a lot of sales horses in the barn right now, so she's certainly getting a ton of my attention. So she's gone quite a bit, and actually I'm going to give her a couple of days off now because I do think she's tired, and also her shoes are loose. I should have gotten her done last week, and somehow it just slipped my mind, and so her shoes are pretty loose, and that definitely needs done. So now she's going to get a couple of easy days, which is very greatly deserved. So she's gone for a bunch of rides in the field. Billy and I went for a trail ride at our local state park over the weekend, and I decided to take Town because my two personal horses had been at a horse show the day before, and she was unbelievable. I mean, I don't know what I expected, but she certainly surpassed anything I could have hoped for. She was so fun, and so that was a big outing for her, and it was fun for her, I think, and she was fabulous. So that was great. So anyway, she's just gone a lot. And so today we're just in the ring working on some very, very basic things as she sort of learns to sort out what jumping is and all the mechanics of it. So the idea here is not that we're going to jump anything big. We do make a couple of small raises as we go, and we start here with some cross rails on the quarter line, on the diagonal. And then at some point we make them like a split cross rail oxer, and then put them up a little bit. And actually, she does end over an actual oxer, which she jumped really nicely. But again, the point is not, she doesn't need to be jumping high. She needs to be figuring out all the mechanics and the footwork that are involved. So I like to come out of the canter and out of the trot. I think it's really important that horses know how to trot fences. Obviously, they also need to know how to canter fences. So without a huge amount of worry or effort, when it's natural to keep coming in the canter, we do. When I think she needs an extra moment to process, or when she thinks she needs an extra moment to process, we come in the trot, and sort of just sort of works itself out organically. So she's working on straightness, balance, steering, coming out of all different distances. She's a super brave little mare. Nothing really phases her. She doesn't mind coming out of any distance. You'll see once or twice in here. Well, once we get quite a gappy distance. A couple of times we get right to the base. And then a bunch of times she gets a really nice sweet spot distance like that. That was really good. And she's very adjustable. She has such an uphill canter, and the canter in itself is just so balanced that for her, it just comes naturally to her to have an adjustable stride, or to have a really broad spectrum of what she finds to be acceptable distances. Honestly, the hardest thing about riding her today was just the steering a little bit. I haven't ridden her in the ring in a week, maybe over a week. She's been out on her trail ride, and she's been in the field. And so being back in the ring, obviously you're in a much smaller space, and it made me realize that, okay, our steering isn't quite as perfect as I thought it was. The field is more forgiving in the sense that you just have so much more room, so much more space between all the jumps, that maybe you don't realize that you're taking a lot more steps than you realized to get straight. But that's a very normal baby thing. She has matured so much in the last couple of weeks that she's been here. When she first came, obviously, I have to be honest, I have to say when I think that a horse is a bit more of an up horse or athletically minded or whatever it is. And she certainly was when she came. And that's not to say, listen, I'm not saying that this is a beginner friendly horse. It's most certainly not. She needs to go to someone who's experienced working with athletic horses, who has experience developing young and green horses, and all those things. She has to go to someone with experience, someone who wants a sporty horse, someone who wants to bring a horse along in a program. For sure, she needs all those things. But there's absolutely nothing quirky about this horse. There's nothing naughty. she's really a good egg and she wants to make all the right choices. And as long as you're riding her on a fairly consistent basis, right now she's probably going 4 or 5 days a week. And she's perfect. Honestly, on 4 or 5 days a week, I think she's a little tired on 5 days a week. She'd be better on 4 days a week. So I'm going to actually back it down a little bit. So she's a very rideable, very sane, appropriate horse for anyone with experience who wants to keep a horse in a little bit of a program. When I talk about naughty behavior, what I mean is, oh, that was really good. That was so cute. There's absolutely no rear in this horse whatsoever. To me, that's the big one that scares me that I don't want to deal with. And so generally, if I have a horse who's rearing and that's actually a problem, then that's not a horse I want to ride at all. So certainly no rearing. She doesn't buck, she doesn't spin, she doesn't bolt. Every once in a while, she'll spook at something. She is alive, she is aware of when things pop out or whatever, but nothing obscene or what I would consider out of the realm of normal horse behavior. I think that if you gave her, that was a pretty gappy one. She was good about that. I think if you gave her 2 weeks off, and didn't touch her for 2 weeks or ask her to do anything, and then you wanted to ride her, yeah, I'd probably stick her on the lunge line for a couple of minutes before I got on. But if you're riding her on a pretty consistent, like every other day type basis, then you are in for a very sort of pleasant, predictable ride. That was really cute. I was a little annoyed with myself because a couple of times I thought I was a little quick with my upper body. And also, so I'm wearing these yellow gloves. I actually try not to wear them for sales videos. I didn't even realize that I had them on. I love these gloves. They're like really thick, sort of like working rancher gloves, but they're also really ugly. And I did not realize until I turned on this video and watched it back that these are the gloves that I was wearing. So, oops. So here now we actually have a proper little oxer, and she was so good. That was so cute. And then we're going to come one more time. We trotted it the first time. Now we're going to come out of the canter. And then that's her grand finale. And super, super cute. What a good girl. And so then here in the last minute, we just got a little bit of her on the ground. She is fantastic on the ground. She stands beautifully on cross ties. She loads well. She ships well. She's very, very easy to handle on the ground.